All right, let's talk about the one piece of tech we use pretty much every single day, our computer. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain and get right inside the machine to understand what really makes it tick. Let's do this.
Have you ever just stared at that box on your desk and really thought about it? On the outside, it's just metal and plastic, but on the inside, it holds our entire lives, our memories, our work, our connection to the world. So how on earth does a pile of circuits and wires pull all of that off?
Well, to make this all make sense, we're going to try a little thought experiment. For a few minutes, let's stop thinking about the computer as a machine, and instead, let's think of it like a human body. Trust me, this one simple shift makes everything click into place.
So, if it's a body, what's the first thing it needs? Well, every body needs a skeleton to hold it all together and a brain to do the thinking. So, naturally, that's exactly where we're going to start.
This right here is the motherboard. You can think of it as the skeleton and the central nervous system all rolled into one. It's this big circuit board that everything else plugs into, and all those tiny lines you see are the pathways, the nerves, that let every single component talk to every other component. It's the foundation for, well, everything. And sitting right there, in its own special socket on the motherboard, is the brain. This is the central processing unit, the CPU. Now, don't let its size fool you. This little chip is where all the heavy lifting, all the actual thinking gets done. Every click, every command, it all goes through this guy. So, what does a computer brain think about anyway? Well, it's constantly grabbing instructions from your software, crunching numbers, and making split-second decisions. You know when you hear people talking about gigahertz? That's just a measure of how fast the brain can do all this. It's the reason your computer feels snappy or not so snappy. The bottom line is, without the CPU, you've just got a body with the lights on and nobody home.
All right, we have a skeleton and a brain. What's next for our body? Well, it needs a way to remember things, both what's happening right now and things from way back. So let's talk about a computer's memory.
So, computer memory basically comes in two main flavors. First, you've got RAM, which stands for Random Access Memory. The best way to think about this is like a workbench. It's where you put all the stuff you're actively working on right now. It's super fast, but here's the catch. As soon as you turn off the power, that workbench gets wiped clean. Poof! On the other hand, you have ROM, or read-only memory. This is more like instinct. It's the deep-down, permanent knowledge the computer needs just to wake up in the morning. And that stuff is never lost, even when the power's off.
And here's what they actually look like. Over on the left, you've got these long sticks. That's the RAM. That's your temporary workbench. And see that little black square on the right? That's a ROM chip, holding those essential, permanent instincts.
Okay, but what about your memories, your photos, your documents, your games, all the stuff you want to keep forever? For that, our body needs long-term memory. This comes in the form of a storage drive. This is the library, the photo album, where everything you save gets put away safely.
And these days, there are two main kinds. On the left is the old-school hard disk drive, or HDD, which actually has spinning metal platters inside, kind of like a tiny record player. On the right, that's the modern version, a solid-state drive, or SSD. No moving parts, so it's way, way faster. But at the end of the day, they both do the same job. They act as the library of the computer's life experiences.
Okay, let's recap. We have a body, a brain, and two kinds of memory. We're getting somewhere, but right now, our creation is totally isolated. It can't see, hear, or speak to the outside world. It's time to give this machine some senses.
Let's start with sight. That is the job of the graphics card. This thing is a specialized powerhouse that takes raw data from the brain and turns it into everything you see on your screen. Images, videos, games, all of it. Without one, the computer would be thinking away, but it would have no way to show you what was on its mind.
Next up, hearing and speech. That's where the sound card comes in. It's a translator. It turns digital code into the music and sound you hear from your speakers. And it also takes your voice from a microphone and turns it into something the computer can understand.
And finally, what about connecting with others? The Network Interface Card, or NIC, gives our digital body a voice to communicate across the globe. This little component is your ticket to the internet, allowing our machine to join a massive worldwide conversation.
So, we've done it. We've assembled the skeleton, the brain, the memory, and the senses. We have a complete physical body. All the parts are connected, but there's one essential piece missing. Right now, it has no life, no consciousness,
And that's the big question, isn't it? All this powerful hardware is just a dormant collection of parts until something animates it. So how do we breathe life into the machine we've just built?
The answer is the operating system, the OS. You know it as Windows, Mac OS, or Linux. It's the software that acts as the soul of the machine. It's the consciousness that runs in the background, managing all the hardware we just put together and making it all work as one coherent whole.
Think of the OS as the ultimate manager. It gives you the visual desktop you click on, it juggles how memory is used by all your apps, it handles security, and this is critical, it uses special little translators called device drivers to communicate with every single piece of hardware. It's the conductor of the entire orchestra, making sure every section plays in perfect harmony.
So when you look at your computer now, you can see that it's so much more than just a random collection of components screwed into a box.
It's a fully integrated system, a body where every part has a purpose. The motherboard is the skeleton, the CPU is the brain, RAM is the workbench, storage is the long-term memory, the cards are the senses, and the operating system, that's the soul that brings it all to life.
And maybe the most amazing part of all this is that you are the one who directs that consciousness. So the real question is, now that you know what's really happening inside that machine, what incredible thing are you going to tell it to do next?